So often when we hear the word assessment or evaluation, we immediately have a negative connotation. Oh, standardized tests. Oh, horrible things to measure kids. Oh, kids getting nervous, teachers getting nervous. But really, assessment is fun. Assessment is teaching. Assessment is almost the infinity sign. You can't tell where instruction stops and assessment begins. One of the things I really like about this course is it starts with the end in mind. I believe that if teachers don't unpack those standards and repack those standards and organize those standards, they really are limited in the quality of assessments they can create. I'd like to start with an example, and I've just selected one standard, and it's informative writing for grade 5. Just read the first paragraph of this informative writing for grade 5. As a 5th grade student, how would you feel if you walked in and that was hanging on your wall, you know, and just there, and all of a sudden they said, and by the way, boys and girls, that's what we're going to be learning this next couple of weeks. How do you feel? Confused. Confused? Do you know half these words? I've taught English for 20 years. Where do I start? So what I'm going to talk to you about is a process. It's called repacking the standards. You need to dig deep. You need to understand all the vocabulary of those standards. You need to understand the concepts of the standards. You need to be on the same page when it comes to realizing what does the standard really say, what does it address, and what is it demanding the students do to show mastery. So I really like the focus I have on the repacking the standards at the very beginning of the course.
Teachers do sometimes get overwhelmed. I even get overwhelmed sometimes, especially if I'm looking at a new standard. And so with that, having that conversation of what does that standard really mean, and now how can we plan instruction to get there, has been very beneficial for us.
Having Kay work with large groups of teachers has created a cadre of teachers who really understand how standards-based instruction works and how assessment has to work within a standards-based classroom or standards-based instruction.
Often teachers will create assessments that may be engaging, may be interesting, something they feel comfortable with, but they're really not aligned with the standards. If you don't embed the language of the standards and the concepts and the big ideas and the essential questions, those assessments aren't really valid. In order to have effective assessment, you have to have a variety or a repertoire of assessment tools. So this is a great task, but of course the power is in the checklist that you give the kids to walk them through the task. Another thing that I really like about this course is the emphasis on checklist. Everybody's talking about rubrics, everybody's talking about scoring guides, but what I found in my many years of education is many students don't understand rubrics.
There are 3 major chunks in this checklist. There are different ways you can break up this project.
When you have a checklist ahead of you or in front of you, and you're just able to check off the things that you've done, like, it makes you more aware of your accomplishments.
I'm excited about this course because it not only addresses the theory that goes behind it, but it really addresses the hands-on things that teachers have to do.
They can go to Dr. Burke's training today and implement it tomorrow.
She has brought in so many different things for us to be able to use with our students.
The big difference is the fact that the students can tell me what they're learning and why they're learning it. They can also tell you how the teacher is going to know that they mastered those standards, and they're able to do it in their own words. The work that we have done with Kay Burke has helped us move our district forward in really meeting the needs of all of our students.